Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another special edition of Sports Hour here, represented by WNYF at our very own Fredonia campus underneath Hendricks Hall here alongside me, Jarrett Belschwinder in for his first time being out with me, so we're excited to have him here.
Very
And
excited.
we're just going to talk about sports like always, and there's a lot of news to get to, so let's not waste any time and let's get right into it, Jarrett.
Right.
We just want to announce, too, as well, we have some very special guests on that will be coming on the show in our later segment. From the Ultimate Frisbee team, we have Captain Austin Darling and Vice President Harry Jones on, both senior players for the team. So they're going to come on in a little bit, and we're going to ask a couple questions and see what they're all about. I don't really know too much about Ultimate Frisbee, so, I'm excited to hear about it. But let's get right into the national news right away. Some NFL news, a lot of stuff going on here, Jared. A lot of free agency talk coming up with, contracts being over with and teams needing to re-sign players. And a couple of big ones going on right now. The Indianapolis Colts just recently today decided to keep their young tight end, Jack Doyle, and sign him to a 3-year, $19 million contract, reported by NFL's Mike Garofalo. What does this mean for the tight end market? I mean, that's a lot of money for a tight end that really hasn't done a lot. He had a decent season last year. I think we're going to have to start seeing more tight ends make more money with a deal like this. When such a young guy is getting so much money, you're going to see veteran tight ends end up getting more and more money. And it's almost kind of upsetting that the inflation in the NFL is kind of following with what the NBA has been doing. So a big deal right there. Another big name that's out there right now that was just released, most of you probably know, Adrian Peterson was released by the Minnesota Vikings recently. There's a couple teams that are in contention right now for possibly picking him up. They say that the top teams right now, Raiders and the Seahawks. So you got your Oakland Raiders who are in search of a running back, and Seahawks who are looking to replace Marshawn Lynch, who they didn't have last year because he retired the year beforehand. He also said that he would take a pay cut to play for the New England Patriots. And I'm sure that's what a lot of NFL fans don't want to hear, but I'm sure a lot of Patriot fans are very giddy and very happy about certain news like that. One of the best running backs in the game looking to go to the best team in the NFL. So that's another name that I wanted to throw out there. So right now, another name, Deshaun Jackson. Wide receiver for the Washington Redskins is released, and a couple teams that are in business for possibly signing him, the Buffalo Bills being one, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So there's a speedy slot receiver that a lot of teams would like to have on their team, a nice veteran. He's been there before, a guy that will be around in free agency talks over the next couple of weeks. And another receiver that was just cut that to kind of final up our free agents being released, Torrey Smith of the San Francisco 49ers has been released, and he averaged 17 yards per catch last year, one of the highest in the league. So there's a player that some teams might want to bring in to extend the field a little bit and, just stretch the field a little bit more. So maybe a team that has a good, solid running game that wants to use a receiver that can stretch the field so they can keep that running game going. So maybe a Bills signing there for the Buffalo Bills. And the biggest news right now for all you Buffalo fans out there, the decision on Tyrod Taylor has still yet to be made. The quarterback of the Buffalo Bills the last 2 seasons had some solid numbers here and there, but still they don't know if he's the franchise guy. The decision has to be made by this Saturday by 4 p.m. So we're getting down to the nitty-gritty now, and it's a situation that I myself am all over because I'm a Buffalo fan myself. So it's very interesting. I think that at this time the Bills need to just keep rolling with Tyrod. They don't really have a better option at the moment. It will cost them a little bit of money, and that's where the negative comes in. If you do keep him, it's a lot of money against your cap room. But if you get rid of him, the positive is you'll open up $31 million to sign somebody else.
I'm certainly new to the market since I come from the other side of the state over in Albany, but I certainly feel like I would agree with you where Tyrod, I think, kind of has to be the guy right now because, I always feel like in the NFL, things kind of just lock up very quick.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, everyone just kind of slots into the teams they kind of want to play with, and it's certainly hard to get out there and make a deal. So I think it would be the best course to just kind of stick with Tyrod.
Yeah, and to kind of add on to that is a great point there, Jarrett, that teams like the Bills have just been rolling through quarterbacks over the last decade and a half. They've just, oh, we got this guy for 2 years. Well, it doesn't seem like he's our guy. Let's get rid of him. Let's move on. Same thing with their coaching staff. They kind of get rid of them over and over. Every 2 years, they're going through players, and it's just like if you need a franchise quarterback, Tyrod might not be that guy, but you definitely do need to keep a guy that has experience on the roster, and he does have a lot of upside. So we'll see when that decision is made within the next week. So we're really excited to see that. But let's move on a little bit now into the NBA right now. Me and Jared ourselves, we're not huge on the NBA, so we have a guy that's supposed to be here with us every week from here on out. Jimmy will be with us, and he is a big NBA fan, so he'll have a lot of news to cover on that. He's also a big NCAA basketball fan, so we'll be excited to have some more insight on that. But just a quick couple of things we wanted to touch base on. One of the greatest players of our generation, Dirk Nowitzki, one of the players I grew up watching, one of the best shots ever in the NBA, just became the 6th player in NBA history to score 30,000 points. So a huge feat for him. And it's a huge story, again, for the NBA. They've been thriving off stories like this over the last couple of years. So congratulations to him. It's always a good milestone when you hit something like that. But another key aspect I wanted to touch base on was Kawhi Leonard of the San Antonio Spurs has just been a monster this season. And for any of you that are watching now that saw the game last night between the Spurs and the Rockets, there was about 25 seconds left in the game, and Kawhi Leonard drained a three-point shot with 25 seconds to go to take the lead. So they took the 2-point, they went up by 2, and then James Harden of the Rockets, one of the best players in the NBA right now too, he came down flying in, looked like he was going to go in for a sure layup, and Kawhi Leonard comes out of nowhere and just blocks it off the backboard. Just a beautiful play. Right now, Kawhi Leonard is in the arguments for MVP this year, which is a great story because he's good on both ends of the court. He's not like the Steph Currys who just hits the three-pointers all day long and just gets all these major points and everything. He's doing everything on both sides of the court. He's averaging 26 points a game, most by any Spurs player since David Robinson, Hall of Famer, for the Spurs. And with 39 points last night against the Rockets, he cracked the 30-point plateau for the 23rd time this season. So that's the most for any Spur in a single season aside from Robinson. So if he's not in MVP talks right now, the NBA's got something up their sleeve. So, and just really quick to note too, Andrew Bogut, the newly signed free agent of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavaliers are trying to bring in all this free agent talent just to try and help them, get over the hump and beat the Warriors again. Bogut comes in 2 minutes into the first game with the team, fractures his leg out for the year. So they're going to have to look elsewhere again for more free agents. So sad news for the Cavs, but I'm sure they'll be just fine.
It's always rough when you get a new guy on board and things just go wrong so quick and you just feel like you're cheated.
Absolutely. Now let's just move on really quick here to the MLB. Spring training is in full swing. Couple teams that we've been following. We got the Mets and the Yankees, but we're going to touch base with the Mets real quick. Got a guy with a Mets hat on. He's a Mets fan, so we're going to talk to Jared.
Here. Not really. I became a fan fairly recently when we got an improved cable package, so it was pretty fun.
So
so I just have some nice little tidbits for you here. Travis d'Arnaud, he's working with an improved swing right now. So he has better numbers now, certainly from last season. We're looking at a 450, so that's about a 9 for 20 in his opportunities so far.
It's good numbers.
So it's after about 7 games. So he's got 2 home runs. So he's really a central player as the catcher for this team. So he's really the guy running the show. So it's nice to have him contributing. Another contributor is the Mets pitching lineup, and Zach Wheeler is looking to return to action fairly soon here. So another fairly important piece to a really impressive lineup that the Mets run when they're pitching.
Definitely, and they're going to be an exciting team to watch this year, and I'm excited. I'm usually not into baseball till the end of the year towards October because it's awesome towards that time of season, but I'll be watching this year. Really quick touch base before we go, before our first segment here. We have the NCAA Selection Sunday for March Madness this Sunday on CBS at 5:30. So for those of you who are March Madness fans out there, watch the Selection Sunday. It's always fun rooting for your teams. UB, they have to win the MAC to make it in, so they could have a possible three-peat, as I should say, for the third year straight of making the tournament, which would be great for the school, great for the Buffalo area. But when we come back, we will have our special guests from the Ultimate Frisbee team, Austin Darley and Harry Jones, coming up right after the break, guys. Stay tuned.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there. Junk food. You see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
Fantastic. So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. It's good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit savethefood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find, cultivate, and train a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
I realized that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
I guess sometimes things just happen. Devastating things. It's got nothing to do with fairness. Bam. Your whole world changes in an instant. And you never see it coming. That's what happened to me. The day my mother had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to learn the signs of a stroke fast. F-A-S-T.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke, F-A F-A-S-T, fast.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. You see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. Good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit savethefood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
Welcome back again to Sports Hour here presented by WNYF. Alongside next to me here, Jarrett Belschwinder. I'm Christian Evans. And we got our special guest here today from the Ultimate Frisbee team here at Fredonia, Austin Darling, the captain, and Harry Jones, the vice president. And we're going to ask him a couple questions now about what Ultimate Frisbee is here at Fredonia and how they got involved and, how do other people get involved and what their experience has been like, what's coming up, and stuff like that.
I would say just start off with like your mission statement and then give your little pitch. For the
Yeah,
campus.
I guess a little pitch would be we're a very welcoming team. We take as many people as we possibly can. You don't need any experience. I certainly didn't have any when I first joined the team, and now I'm captaining. So,
awesome.
Harry, do you have any more?
I think you covered most of what we as a club are about. Anyone can join. We don't make cuts. Most people come in with almost no experience, and like Austin said, he had no experience coming in, and he's now captaining. So it's not. You don't have to be skilled at the sport to be able to play here, which is
Gotcha.
Yeah, but that being said, we're also we play a lot of other colleges, and we're a competitive team. Taking a national run every year. And playing the best we can in our region and try to get there. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so with like playing other teams, like what teams around, do you guys play a certain area or you guys you said you go almost national, so.
Yeah, so Fredonia is part of the Western New York Conference, which goes probably as far as like Saratoga is about as far as we go. And we play schools like Canisius and UB, Cortland, schools like that are in our conference. And then finishing as high as we can, we go into regionals, which is then we play teams like out in Stevens Tech, out in like they're in New Jersey, they're in Hoboken. So like as far as that goes, and some schools in Pennsylvania and Connecticut, and then eventually if we've been trying to make to nationals, so we played then teams all over the nation. But we just came back from a tournament and we played probably schools out in Ohio and in New Hampshire, Rhode Island, schools like all over. So it depends on what tournaments we're playing and basically at what tournament we're playing. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. And now we know both you guys are seniors, correct?
Yeah.
So when you were freshmen coming into Fredonia, did you guys both come into Fredonia as a freshman? Or did you transfer, or?
It was actually a funny story because me and Harry are now roommates. Like we've been roommates since our sophomore year, and actually I came in fall freshman year, and then I lived in Chautauqua Hall, transferred out into Grissom, and then
Rite of passage.
Yeah. And then he transferred from SUNY Purchase and actually ended up staying in my bed in the same room after I had moved out.
Oh,
and
cool.
then he just showed up to Frisbee, and we were wearing the same shirt, and now we're and the rest is history.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I mean, now with Ultimate Frisbee now, like, so how did you guys hear about it? Like, what made you guys want to join in the first place? I mean, it obviously led you guys to basically now you're the captain and the vice president. So I mean, something had to click along the line where you're like, I'd like to do Ultimate Frisbee.
Yeah. I was a soccer player throughout all of high school, and also a high jumper. And I went to nationals in high school, so I was looking at a lot of colleges like Temple, UVM, UB for high jumping. but they didn't give me enough money, basically. So I started looking at in-state schools and like SUNY schools and stuff like that. And I didn't really want to play soccer anymore, and I didn't really want to be like a varsity athlete unless it was giving me money. So my brother, who actually ran one of the semi-professional leagues up until recently, told me, hey, SUNY Fredonia is doing a lot of great things. And if you want to still play a sport, I know you like music too, like SUNY Fredonia might be your best option. I kind of took that to heart, and that kind of is what pulled me here.
That's great.
So first couple weeks here, I pulled myself into the ultimate scene and kind of got to finding the people who were involved with it.
That's pretty funny because I was part of the ultimate club in my high school, but I'm rather out of shape and I get winded quickly, so I couldn't really continue too much.
Yeah.
But I would try my best, like you guys like to say. But I find it funny because we had a rather small club because it's hard to get people in high school to kind of join clubs halfway through the year because they always have their own things. And
Yeah.
We always wind up being like most of the soccer team who was practicing out in like the field next door to come over and play along. So
Yeah, like a lot of people's first like exposure to ultimate is like if they play track. Track teams often play like ultimate frisbee to kind of like as like a fun way to like keep running and stay in shape. And my first like exposure to it was in gym class and intramurals after school, and like I always loved it then. And so like when I first got to college, like Austin, he had said I went to Purchase. And I found the club there pretty quickly because it was something I was interested in, and it wasn't for me at Purchase. Purchase's club wasn't as competitive as it is in Fredonia, which was also something I was looking at as a sport. And so that was when I got to Fredonia, I was excited because they were a competitive club. They were all about winning and but also like having fun and enjoying the sport, which was a perfect balance for me. So it was cool because like I came in from high school not really knowing what it could be. Got to college and kind of figured it out.
So with something like that now, you said like when you came, they were more competitive and stuff. But now that you guys are almost like the leaders of the team, what is your job as being those type of leaders to bring in people? Do you guys have to go out and like kind of expose yourself? Say, hey, there is an ultimate frisbee team. Come join. It's a great time. Like, how do you guys go about doing that? Is that your job? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. And we put it in. We put it in as the job of everybody who's currently on the team, all like the veterans, like anyone who's been on the team the semester before. When we have activities night, we get everyone like, hey, throw on your jerseys, come on out, and we get a great turnout from our team. Just trying to pull as many new people as we can. In the fall, the fall's the best for that because that's when you get your biggest pull of like freshmen and things like that, and you get them interested. And, we love meeting new people and hanging out with new people and then bringing them along, teaching them how to throw, teaching them the basics of Frisbee. And then, come springtime, we're out on the fields running sprints and running drills and, like, getting in shape and stuff like that. And but at all times, any of our Frisbee guys, it's, like, almost like branded into their brains that like if you see someone just like out in the quad or something throwing frisbee, you go up to them and you talk to them, and you see if they're interested in taking it a little farther than just throwing around in a field with their friends and seeing if they want to like come out and play. And surprisingly, it works.
For sure, definitely. And kind of what you were touching base on is like running drills and stuff like that. What's your guys' schedule like when the season starts? When does it start? What is your weekly like preparation? How many games do you have like per week throughout the regular season? How does that work?
I guess I'll talk about practice and you can talk about how we play competitively.
Yeah.
Our practice schedule, if it's nice out, if it's nice enough, then we hit the fields. And that's normally, right like late afternoon every single day. And normally like a fun pickup with our girls team on Saturdays. That's kind of been our schedule lately. But then when we hit winter, we're practicing in steel. And tonight we had a practice on the turf and it's pouring rain tonight. And that we're kind of just taking what we can get. But it's one of those things where it's like.
It's warm enough, you're going out there.
Yeah. Where if it's warm enough, we're going to be outside. But if it's like really unbearable, then we're going to be in steel and take what we can get. Because, every club wants a little time in steel. And, obviously around varsity sports and things like that who are currently in season, it's tough. But you want to talk about tournaments?
Yeah, so fall is our off season, getting ready for spring, which is our actual season. Every semester we go to 4 tournaments. In fall, we usually go to more loose tournaments, things at UB and Edinburgh and stuff that are closer by where it's not so much of a trek. And we bring 2 teams, A and B, so everyone gets playing time. And then, like Austin kind of touched upon, spring's our competitive season. So again, we try and go to 4 tournaments in the spring, and they're farther out where we can get to better competition. So out in like Saratoga, New Jersey, stuff like that. Like we just traveled to New Jersey. And those are usually just one team. You know, we're playing to win is our schedule. But again, like there's 7 people who play at a time, but we have upwards of 22, 25 people going to each tournament because you're not only playing when you're on the field, you're playing off the field. You know, on the sideline. Sideline's such an important part. So like tournaments are just a great time and they're a lot of fun. So that's our competitive season. Then end of April and into May is our playoffs essentially, which is when we play sectionals, regionals, and nationals, hopefully at some point. But
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what's your message now that you guys are going to be leaving after this year? What's your message for the guys below you to keep things going and, you know, just, you know, make sure they keep people involved and, you know, like how to become a leadership, like kind of step into a leadership role like you guys did for the team? How do you guys go about telling people how to do that?
I guess I'll take a whack at it. It's a tough question because there's like, you know, after captaining for 2 years, like how do you surmise that all into one statement, you know? Because it's the type of thing where the people that taught me how to play Ultimate were here at Fredonia, you know, and now they're on to bigger and better things. And the things that they taught me were further than just Frisbee. It was work ethic, you know, and that's something that like I think we try to carry over to our guys below us that will be taking the reins once we're out. And it's nice because I'm a senior captain, but both the other 2 captains are juniors, so at least they'll be here next year, and then you know they'll get some very capable gentlemen under them. But I think the main statement would be to like not let up. Because our big issue was that my freshman year, one team from each region goes to nationals. At least how our region is worked out. To like keep it simply, because there's a lot more that goes into it. Gotcha. But to keep it simply, one team from each region goes to nationals. And my freshman year, we lost in the semifinals of regionals. Oh. My sophomore year, we lost in the finals of regionals. Oh, geez, and then last year, we had a huge recycling of talent, like a whole bunch of starters left, and then we were left with a new young team, and we didn't even make it to regionals. And you know that sets you back. But I think my main statement would be to like keep pushing for it.
Definitely.
Because we got there, and we can get there again.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and it can happen in your time that you're here.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Like you said, you guys came in almost a little no experience playing, and the first year you were already almost there, you know.
Yeah, because of like the fantastic players that we had above us, and then there's just when you're down there, your hope is just to be as good as like the people that you looked up to when you were down there, you know.
Definitely. Now, I just want to comment a little bit on the season coming up. I mean, did you guys say it started already, or?
Yeah,
okay,
it starts,
so you guys.
March, I think, is when it
Okay, and so what do you guys got coming up? Do you guys got any big tournaments coming up this season, or what are some of your biggest games? And where can the school see you and follow you? Where can we watch on campus and stuff like that?
How many games do you play?
Yeah.
Per week?
So Frisbee is kind of cool because we don't go to schools and play like a single game. Right. Mostly because it's cost prohibitive for most teams. So what happens is we play tournaments. So you play about 4 games on Saturday, and then pool play, and then there's the bracket play on Sunday, which we 3 to 4 games depending on how well you play. So we just came from one about 2 weeks ago, and then we have one coming up at the beginning of April, which is going to be our probably most competitive one of the season. And then after that, depending on where how we play, it goes sectionals. And then if we do well at sectionals, we go to regionals. And that's the same thing for our women's team as well. They have one coming up on spring break. So we go down to Myrtle Beach, and we have a bit of a training camp for the guys, and the girls play at a pretty competitive tournament out in North Myrtle Beach, which is going to be awesome for them. and then they do the same thing as us. They come to sectionals, and then they're playing really well this season, so most likely regionals, and then on from there.
Gotcha. So are any games actually played in Fredonia?
In the fall, we host one tournament, so that's when
Okay.
if like the campus community wanted to come see what Ultimate is actually about, they can come out in fall. But in spring, we don't have one at home. We usually travel for that for spring, but so they can see us in the fall, or we have a YouTube channel. It's Fredonia Alt. We sometimes live Periscope our games at Fredonia Alt.
At Fredonia Alt.
Yeah, if we're in the finals, it's an exciting game. We usually try and Periscope, so if people want to follow us there. Our ladies also have a Twitter, and also most likely we will be continuing to Periscope at turtles_T, I believe is their Twitter handle and Periscope. So,
Cool.
Yeah, so there's lots of opportunities to watch us.
Awesome. Well, guys, again, we're here with Ultimate Frisbee Captain and Ultimate Frisbee Vice President, Austin Darling and Harry Jones. It's great having you guys on.
Yeah, thank you.
It's awesome hearing insight from a sport that I don't really even look into that much. But it's great to have you guys on. Thanks for coming. Jared, if you have any closing comments? Or...
Yeah, I never really hear about like the higher ups of Ultimate Frisbee. I always just feel like it's some sort of casual kind of activity. So like, and then I was on a subway in New York City one day. I just saw an ad for New York City Ultimate. So I was like, where do you go from beyond here?
So actually, up until this season, and their seasons are played through the summer. Up until this season, there were two semi-professional leagues called Major League Ultimate, the MLU, and then American Ultimate Disc League called the AUDL. But the MLU actually dropped because they lost funding. Because it kind of hit like a similar situation that we saw in the past with the AFL and the NFL, but that ended with a merger, where here it ended with one of the places fully falling out. So the AUDL, American Ultimate Disc League, it's a great, they have a lot of content out there. Great men's ultimate. And then in terms of women's ultimate, mixed ultimate, and men's ultimate, there's the USAU, which has club championships, nationals, regionally, as well as internationally.
Gotcha.
And that'll be played every year as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome to know. Well, guys, thanks for the insight on everything you guys told us today. And like I said, thanks again for coming on. We love getting this. We want to get this going more. We want to get every sport that's on campus involved here at the TV station. But again, guys, thanks for coming on. And again, this has been Austin Darling and Harry Jones, Ultimate Frisbee Captain and Vice President, and we thank them again for coming on. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Sports Hour coming up just in a few moments, guys. Stay tuned.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. You see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. It was good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit SaveTheFood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find, cultivate, and train a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
I realized that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
I guess sometimes things just happen. Devastating things. It's got nothing to do with fairness. Bam. Your whole world changes in an instant. And you never see it coming. That's what happened to me. The day my mother had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to learn the signs of a stroke fast. F-A-S-T.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke. F-A-S-T. Fast.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. You see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. It was good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit SaveTheFood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
Welcome back again to WNYF Sports Hour, our second edition of this semester. Again, this is Jarrett Belschwinder alongside me. I'm Christian Evans. Just like to thank those Ultimate Frisbee guys for coming here again. That was amazing. That interview was great and learned a lot about Ultimate Frisbee here at Fredonia and just in general. So now we're going to talk about some stuff that me and Jarrett know most about, and that is hockey news. The NHL, any hockey news, that's what we're all about. So let's get started, Jared. You got some interesting information you want to bring to us today.
Well, we could certainly start off by mentioning the elephant in the room, one of the tallest guys in the league outside of Zdeno Chara of the Bruins, Joe Thornton, who just rounded off 1,000 points just the other day.
Incredible.
Tremendous career.
Incredible career.
So
and the
far.
fact
and it's
that
not ending.
It's not. Yeah, and that beard is never going to stop growing.
Yeah, right.
But, no.
You're going to have to give it a net.
Yeah, no, seriously, him and Burns. But, no, that's an incredible stat. Congratulations to Joe Thornton on 1,000 points. I remember watching him as a kid, and he's still the same. Like, he's just never changed. The way he plays, his speed, he really hasn't slowed down. He's just that picture-perfect passer, racking up the assist. I think you said, what was the goal total? 380 goals?
Yeah, 382 career.
So, that's good goal. That's a good goal total, but the assist margin, I just always remember him having tons of assists, and he's just been an assist machine. He's a disher. he's going to keep doing it, I think, for the rest of this year, trying to push San Jose to that cup run and rebound back.
They got close last year. I always say them and Nashville are gonna be teams that are just going to get closer and closer.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, again, Joe Thornton, another congratulations to him on a great and outstanding hockey career. Hopefully there's a little bit more left in the tank for him to get one. So that's always good news. Now, moving on to the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the new team that will be entering the NHL next year with the expansion draft.
Official on the 1st.
Absolutely, they just became official. All the money wiring has been done. They are officially now a team. And did you want to kind of talk about the player that they brought in? The first player ever to be a Golden Knight.
They brought in Reed Duke from the Brandon Wheat Kings of the Western Hockey League, correct?
I believe so.
All right.
Either that or the ECHL, or
No,
it's probably
it's definitely the
WHL.
So he this season he's only going to finish. He'll finish his game with Brendan. However that winds up, whether they wind up in the playoffs or not. But definitely next season, when Las Vegas kicks off their dev camp, he'll start there with them. A little window into what we can expect from Reed Duke from what he's been doing this year. During this season, he's the 21-year-old has tallied 35 goals and 32 assists for 67 points and 69 penalty minutes.
So he's an all-around player, it looks like.
Yeah.
You know? So I mean, it's an interesting move because I was wondering what they were going to do with their first couple months in with the expansion draft obviously not being until
with the trade deadline and all, you're thinking maybe they make a move.
They'd make a move, exactly. And kind of touching on to that, they can pick anyone up right now, the Vegas Golden Knights. Players that their rights aren't owned by any other NHL team, or the player isn't actively participating in the 2016-2017 season with another NHL franchise. Yes. So they have a lot of they can do pretty much anything they want. And to bring in a young guy like this, maybe even just kind of a core piece, hopefully for them, to build on in the future. What's it going to take, though, Jarrett, for them? I mean, obviously, it's probably going to take some time before that team is anything special. But with the way that the NHL is structuring this expansion draft, with the players that teams can hold on to and the requirements, like, how long do you think it will take for this Las Vegas team to become a competitor for at least a playoff spot?
Definitely. They're coming into the West, which is a strong, goal-centered conference out of the East. The East, where there's certainly more speed and skill involved. And it's definitely going to be a little bit at least. I'd say maybe, I don't know, like 2 or 3 seasons before we can, I think, actively give them a grade, say if they've made it or not. But I think definitely right now it'd take at least a couple seasons to
absolutely
figure out where they're going.
I'm in the same boat as you, Jared. I think that it's going to take some time, but I think the good thing about them being in Vegas, I mean, there's positives and negatives. Obviously, you don't want to have players that go out every night in Vegas and spend a ton of money and do terrible things, but I think it's going to attract a lot of players to go there. And it's an area that everyone goes to have fun. It's new.
Exciting.
The fans are probably pretty excited to have a team there.
NFL team there next season too, I believe.
Exactly. Exactly. So you're going to have a lot of teams going there in the next couple seasons. So I think that players and free agents are going to want to use that market and head into that market because of the area. It's Las Vegas. You always want to play or go to Las Vegas, just because it's Las Vegas. So I think a player right now that they've been talking about for goaltending-wise, they're looking for a starting goalie there. Yeah. There's a couple free agents that are going to be coming out on the market for them that they might be able to grab onto. One of the big names right now is Pittsburgh Penguins backup goaltender Marc-Andre Fleury, who's been in the league for quite a while now, a little over 10 seasons.
I remember when he was a starter.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when he won a cup with the Penguins, and he was a pretty good goaltender for a while. He's been recently overcame by youngster Matt Murray there in Pittsburgh, but I think that would be a great land for Fleury and a great land for the team to get a guy that has experience. He's older, but he's still he's healthy. He hasn't played a lot of games. He hasn't had the wear and tear of any other starting goalie that might be in the league.
He's able to lead him into battle there. I think it definitely is strong first pickup.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that if they are going anywhere first, you got to go goaltender with that team because they're probably not going to have the forward and defense depth that they have, that you would have with being a normal NHL franchise. So I'm excited to see what their jerseys look like. I'm excited to see everything. I'm excited to see.
They only gave up the
logo, right?
Logo, and I think I've seen their numbers, what their numbers would look like floating around.
Definitely.
Just a
So
lot of their detail.
it's just an exciting time for the NHL as the NHL is trying to expand, and it will also bring in, I think, quite a bit of revenue from being in Vegas. I mean, you're going to have a lot of money flowing in through there. So good news for the NHL, awesome news for Vegas people that like hockey. So hopefully that all works out, and I think in a couple of years we might see a decent competitive team. But moving on a little bit in the NHL, a couple games going on tonight. I mean, it's coming down to the wire now. March is the biggest month of the year when it comes to the playoff race. A couple games going on that have actually gone final right now. My beloved Buffalo Sabres on their way down the tubes this year after losing a lot of games in their last week. Only won one of them. Tonight they dropped to the Philadelphia Flyers, who they were competing for a playoff spot. They dropped at home tonight 6-3 by the Flyers, but good news for Sabres fans that really know what this Sabres team is all about. Jack Eichel, another 3-point. He got another point tonight to extend his point streak to 11 games, which is incredible for the age that he is. He's 20 years old, 2 goals and an assist tonight, adding on 3 points, make it 45 on the year, I believe, in 46 games. So almost averaging a point a game pace. He's just been rock solid over these last couple months, but pretty much since he's been back from his high ankle sprain. I kind of want to just touch base a little bit on Eichel. I don't want to go goo gaga over him because I'm a Sabres fan.
You've got a while to do that.
Exactly, and I think a lot of Sabres fans, including myself, I think we're getting too into us being upset that we're not in the playoff spot right now. But I think we got to start looking at the positives and seeing that we have a guy in Jack Eichel, and we have a player like Evander Kane who also scored tonight for the team. You got guys like this that are going to just get better with time, and you have to build depth around them. The Sabres don't have a good top six in defense. They still have some extra pieces there like Brian Giunta and Matt Molson that they're going to have to ship off and get rid of, and the younger guys will come in and maybe sign another nice free agent in the offseason. So there's still a lot of time, and you got to think, 2 years ago this team was one of the worst teams in NHL history. And to come back and have a guy like Jack Eichel be one of the best players right now in the NHL, he's actually leading the league in points since January 23rd, above Jamie Benn by a couple points now. So, I mean, he's been on fire. There's positive signs, Buffalo fans, so just give it a little more time. I know it stinks because we've been waiting forever, but our time will come. So, and a couple more scores here to go around the league.
I was going to mention over on the Flyers, but their Radko Gudas, their deadline pickup. Radko Gudas. He had a goal and 2 assists tonight. So definitely he's paying dividends early for the
Absolutely, and he's a physical guy, and he was actually originally on the team. They scratched him for a while because of some issues he had with behavior, and he was always getting suspended for hitting people and doing dirty things, but he's actually stepped up his game since coming back to the Flyers, and like you said, a goal and 2 assists tonight. It's a huge night for him. And he doesn't have that offensive upside, but he's a great player to have on your roster as a depth defensive player. So it's a great point there, Jarrett. Moving on, tonight, the Maple Leafs, another team that the Sabres were chasing. They come out on top at home tonight against the Red Wings in a score of 3-2. Nazem Kadri scoring there. Red Wings also, like the Sabres, falling out of playoff contention quickly and quietly. In other news, the Rangers top the Panthers 5-2. Panthers, they're fighting for a spot right now.
That's a strong showing for the Rangers since they went back-to-back since last night with Tampa.
Yeah, definitely. And the Rangers won last night, 1-0 in overtime, in a crazy overtime. I watched that game between them and the Lightning. Both goaltenders, Giunta and Vasilevsky, were just standing on their head all night long. So 1-0 game that was. But Rangers bounced back with 5 tonight. Chris Kreider with 1, to mention Kevin Hayes, a couple others there. But the Panthers, they need to start winning. You know, they're a team that's battling right now in the Eastern Conference. And they are battling along with some Eastern Conference teams of your liking, the Boston Bruins. So let's talk a little bit about the Bruins here, Jarrett. What's going on there?
Well, in the Eastern Conference in general, it's just every year by this point, it's just a stinking bottleneck.
Seriously.
Where you could be in the playoffs one day and then out the next day, and you could win 3 games after that and still not even make it anywhere near because everyone else is on top of you winning as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's just a stressful day in the Eastern Conference, and I mean, you're Buffalo, so you know that as well, too.
Absolutely. And right now I'm looking at the standings. 5 points separate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams from Boston right now. So there's 6 teams within 5 points of each other looking for the 3rd place spot in the Atlantic Division. So it's,
and they definitely have to keep winning.
you know, so all these games down the stretch matter for all these teams. A couple teams to note, the Islanders in there. We mentioned the Flyers, the Lightning, Florida. Buffalo is pretty much slowly falling out of the race. But those teams are all within 5 points of a playoff spot, so it's an interesting time in the NHL. But you know what's been a bottleneck this year, Jared, is the Western Conference as well. The Western Conference has been absolutely incredible coming down to it these last couple of weeks. Wild card, I just mentioned there's 5 points separating the teams from a wild card spot. Right now there's 6 points separating 4 teams from the final playoff spot in the Western Conference. So you got a lot of shifting going on. I mean, the division winners, Minnesota and Chicago, 1 point away from each other. 2 of the hottest teams in the NHL. So, I mean, you got 2 teams right there that I think are legit contenders. And I'd like to see Minnesota this year, to be all honest. I mean, they've ever since they came into the league, they've been a competitive team, and that fan base has been with them throughout it all. And I think they added a lot of key pieces in the offseason. Their younger guys are getting better. You know, Niederreiter's having, like, almost like a Selke-like season for them, you know, and it's just it's been a great year in the NHL, and you know, I'm excited to see how these last couple weeks pan out.
Always getting towards the fun bit.
Let's do something fun here. Well, we got a few minutes to go here, about 2 minutes left here in our show. Let's make some playoff predictions here.
All right.
Let's see what teams do you think make it in right now? And what team do you think from each conference makes it to the Stanley Cup Finals?
Oh, dear.
I got a couple on my mind, but if you got some on your mind, you go ahead.
Maybe if you want to start first, 'cause
Yeah,
I have to.
yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's been so close, but right now I got Washington, Columbus, Pittsburgh easily making it in.
Yeah.
I mean, they're way far ahead of everyone in their conference. The Rangers will make it in. They're the last wild card spot with 88 points. The Rangers. The next closest team to get into the wild card is 71 points, and that's the Islanders. So they're in. So those 4 teams are in. Montreal, they look like they locked it up. Ottawa looks like they locked it up. And to be honest, I don't see anyone catching Boston for that 3rd seed. I think that they're still a decent team. They after firing Claude Julien, they've scored a lot more goals.
Yeah.
They lost the other night. Last night, I believe it was, to Ottawa.
A really bad game. Boston does this thing they like to do where they just kind of get out on the ice and just kind of skate around, and maybe it's like, oh, maybe we'll score a goal.
yeah, definitely. But
they just had a bad night.
That Marchand, Pasternak, and Bergeron line have been on fire.
Marchand,
and
with last night's game against Ottawa, back-to-back 30-goal seasons now.
Yes,
so.
definitely. So it's
I said it on Twitter the other day. You may think he's a pest, but he's our pest.
Absolutely. I mean, for Boston fans out there, I mean, they want him in the lineup every night because of the way he plays and how many goals he scores and the points he gets. And
he's really come into his own.
He's really come, like you said, into his own, and that line has just been on fire as of late. But right now, for the last wild card spot, I would have to say it's between Toronto, the Islanders, Philly, Tampa, and Florida. Tampa playing pretty strong now that they got Vasilevsky as their starter. I mean, they got rid of Ben Bishop. They're playing real strong, but I think that the 2 teams I'm looking at right now, Mike Babcock's Toronto Maple Leafs. You can never doubt Mike Babcock when it comes to coaching.
I agree with you.
When it comes down the stretch, I think Toronto will be there towards the end. With either they'll finish right outside the wild card, or they'll be in that last wild card spot.
And I think Toronto, they like to get ahead of themselves too, like Buffalo, where they have Austin Matthews there. And they're all excited, and they've got some talented younger players.
Mitch Marner and all.
If they don't make it this year, I'd say don't panic.
No, Toronto's going to be good for years to come, and it's depressing being a Sabres fan. But I think it's going to be between them and the Flyers, because the Flyers have been there before. They have a lot of talent on that team, and they won 10 straight earlier in the year, and they looked like they were going to be a powerhouse. And then ever since, they were kind of just, on the fence with a lot of their games. But
then Brizgalov happened.
But Stanley Cup picks, we didn't really get to the Western Conference. I think the Kings will make it in. I know that they've been shaky lately, but the Kings will be that last wild card spot over St. Louis. I really think that.
Yeah.
They've just been there before. They finally got John Quick back. Tyler Toffoli's back in the lineup. I think that they'll be a team that will get in there. But they got Bishop
Tampa.
from Tampa, so they have two good goalies now. So if anything happens to Quick, they'll have a starting goalie. They just got to start winning in this last month of March. So my Stanley Cup picks, before we go, guys, my Stanley Cup picks right now. You can never doubt Chicago. The Chicago Blackhawks will be there towards the end. They are always there. It's going to be between them and Minnesota probably in one of those first 2 rounds. They're going to meet each other somewhere down the line, Minnesota and Chicago.
They always do.
I mean, they always do.
It's always a fun series to watch.
Yes, and they always go to 6 or 7 games, but I think Minnesota will give them a run. But Chicago, they just know how to win in the playoffs. And then I think it's going to be them. And then finally, the Washington Capitals break and get into the Cup. That team should not lose in the playoffs. I think that team is the team to beat, and everyone should know that. And they should know that, and they shouldn't get too high on themselves, and I don't think they will because of the way they were last year, how good they were, and that's a team that really does need to just break that funk and finally get to that Stanley Cup victory. But that's all the news we have for today, though. It's been fun. I had a great time here with Jared and his first time being on, so congratulations to Jared for being on. We will be doing our radio show soon. We're going to be starting up our Sports Hour show on the radio at Fredonia Radio, so we'll be keeping you guys in touch with that, and we're working on that.
Yeah, I'd like to just say, congratulations on helping out with the win for Fredonia Radio System.
Oh, absolutely.
The Hockey Night in Fredonia crew.
Hockey Night in Fredonia crew.
We got go back to back now on a Best Play-by-Play award. So
it's been awesome. Best Play-by-Play award. Jay Wilkie helped us out. Jay Wilkie was one that got the award, but it was a whole crew that was a part of it. All of us did it. So awesome job, Fredonia Radio Station. Just shout out to you guys. Best station in the country voted on. So, but thanks again, guys, for watching. We'll be back after break with another edition of Sports Hour for you, presented by WNYF, streaming live on YouTube, also streaming live on Dunkirk TV. So we'll catch you guys next time. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for the Ultimate Frisbee guys for coming in and talking to them. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right. Good night.